home plate. Baseball actually, I think, is a very significant contributor to this.
I totally agree.
Because obviously the NFL, this new wave of civil rights discussion obviously started with Kaepernick, which was in the NFL, and the NBA has been, in the front of these types of protests. I mean, dating back to Trayvon Martin with the Miami Heat with the hoodies.
Right.
But baseball has played such a significant role. I mean, it's not insignificant. They stood out there for 42 seconds, obviously, for Jackie Robinson. They've played such a significant role in race relations in this country that, now obviously it's not as diverse as it used to be. And for baseball to embrace this and to
day
put
one
in games is really significant.
Mookie Betts of the Dodgers says, "I'm out." Clayton Kershaw's like, "You're out, we're out." Like it's a real thing. Baseball has it's got an older fan base, which tends to be more conservative.
Yep.
So there's real risk here. The NBA has always been kind of like coastal, which tends to be more democratic.
Right.
Baseball's got an older, more conservative fan base. So for them to embrace this.
And also the NBA is very international, extremely international.
Yeah.
More so, well, obviously baseball is too, but
not to the NBA.
Not to the scale of the NBA. And to your point, it's older demographic that's watching for the most part. They're the loyal fan base, and they're not as diverse as the NBA and the NFL. So I thought this was very significant that all the leagues are getting involved, as you mentioned, tennis and MLS. Everyone's on board. So you know what? We're in a space where people are very polarized. All I ask at this point, because it's very difficult to get through to anyone, is to just listen. Nobody's really having conversations. If you're only looking for affirmation, then you're not really listening.
Right. Well, that goes for what we've become as a country. Right. Affirmation over information.
Absolutely. And that's on every side. Like, I think that goes to every extreme. Like, you have to listen to everyone. It doesn't mean you have to agree. But if you can't even listen, then you're a problem.
The other thing to think about here, and I don't want to get preachy, but players are not asking for more money. Like, I always understand when fans get upset when a player's got 3 years left in a contract and goes, "I want to renegotiate." Like, dude, contracts have to matter. Like, the players are not asking, baseball players, hockey players, basketball players, they're not asking for more money because I don't like when players hold out. We sign contracts in life, the NFL owners, NBA owners. If you're a dog, if you underachieve, they don't get their money back.
Right.
They're not fighting for that here. They're fighting, actually, they're hurting their bottom lines by boycotting. They get less money. So, to me, they're fighting for the right stuff. When players become too much about money and hold out over money, I'm very critical of them because I've outperformed some things in my life. I don't get more money. You have.
Right.
And owners don't get a discount.
That's not how contracts work.
Owners don't get a discount when a player a bust. A guy you draft him and he's a bust, and there's a lot more of those than stars.
Well, also, I think to your point about you're running out of places to hide, I think it's very significant to remember that sports has always, organized sports in this country have always played a role in social issues.
Yes, always.
Whether it's age, gender, race,
wars, domestic issues,
religion, domestic issues, women, gender issues, like it's Title IX, Billie Jean King, like it's not all limited to just race. And the reason that there's always a tie to social issues in sports is because sports are played by human beings who have social issues, who have families and friends who have social issues.
People forget this.
Dealing with these issues.
I'm hearing a lot of this from people. Athletes didn't used to get into. No. Are you kidding me? Muhammad Ali in the 70s took on our government.
No, that's
it's nonsense.
That's nonsense.
Billie Jean King.
It's not true.
This has been going on. Curt Flood with free agency went right after the owners.
There was a time where there were segregated baseball leagues. There was a time when black men were not allowed to play football. There was a time when basketball players had to sit out.
Couldn't go to the same hotel.
Like,
this has been going on.
The only reason those things changed, it wasn't because they very kindly asked for it to be changed.
They forced change.
That's the only way it happened.
This idea, this narrative that, there's too much politics in sports. Now, 2020 the pandemic has just elevated a lot of things. But this has been going on forever. Muhammad Ali was the most known, popular, controversial athlete of my childhood.
And he wasn't loved during the time he was doing that. All the things that you're saying about the athletes now is what they were saying about Muhammad Ali then. The only difference is we evolved, and now he's a hero because he stood up for what he believed in.
Yeah.
But just like be careful how history is going to look back on this particular situation.
And it's not new. This has been happening forever. Everybody wants to. And I think a lot of I do think the pandemic, it's forced us to make big changes in our life. Kids can't go to school.
It's a lot for people.
It's a lot. By the way, it's a lot for everybody. That's where I have great compassion for people who don't have some certain means in life and their kids are still home. They can't go to school. There's a lot of stress going on in America right now.
Sure.
A lot of stress.
For everyone.
But this stuff happening in sports has been happening. Olympic movements. We had Olympics canceled. Our government canceled an Olympics.
If you
that
think
was
it's
political.
New, you're just not a sports fan, or you're just you're just making stuff up. It's just not true.
If this is one of these, I'm out on sports. Then did you quit after the government turned off the Olympics? I mean, this has been going on forever. It's just now we have Instagram and Twitter, and you see it more if you're on your phone. It's in your face more.
Absolutely. So Damian Lillard left the bubble yesterday to return to Portland for further examination on his sprained right knee, which means he was able to reunite with his family for the first time in weeks.
I saw that.
And he posted a picture with Damian Jr., writing, "Dislocated finger, lateral knee sprain, but this is good for the soul. Miss my baby boy." He is so cute. I really just wanted to do this story so we could show a picture of him.
I wonder now,
adorable.
so Damian's not playing tonight. I heard somebody this morning say, they should just mail this in if you're Portland. But if you're Terry Stott, you have to support your players. You're going to play hard. But it's
no, I mean, it feels this way for everyone. And I mean, there's just certain games that you go into that you know it's going to take an unbelievable effort, basically miracle.
Portland came into the bubble different than almost every other team.
Right.
They had to win every game virtually.
Yeah, they've been playing the playoffs since they got into the bubble.
I mean, the Lakers played hard against the Clippers, then mailed in 3 weeks.
Yes.
And it's like, so, I mean, I think Portland and Dame, I think they just ran out of gas. I think they were exhausted.
They have nothing to be ashamed of. They had an incredible season.
They were
and did
fun.
an unbelievable job in the bubble. And Damian Jr. is the cutest. So the Packers moved up in the draft to get Jordan Love with the 26th pick, but he isn't performing at the level that a first-round pick is expected to. The latest report from camp, according to The Athletic, he hasn't fallen down the quarterback depth chart. He was already at the bottom of it. But Love has yet to provide even a glimpse at why the Packers traded up to draft him in the first round. Nobody expected him to take the world by storm in his first 9 practices, but every throw he makes seems like a touch pass, and he's had some accuracy issues early on.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So Green Bay drafted him to humble Aaron. It's the opposite effect. Aaron's looking at him going, I told you people, like, this is what we traded 2 picks for?
This was what I was afraid of.
Now Aaron's got more power.
We had a lot of questions about Jordan Love. Kind of felt like, people were putting him in that Mahomes category way too soon.
He's a project.
And then for them to trade up to get him. Because the idea, that's why I didn't like the Brett Favre Aaron Rodgers comparison, because it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
They were 13-3 in the NFC Championship game last year. When they drafted Aaron Rodgers, they lost in the wild card game.
Yeah.
That's the year that they took it.
Also, they took a first and a fourth to move up to get Jordan Love. So they're telling you, this organization's telling you, we're going to give up picks.
Right.
Even though we have holes in the roster, we got blown out twice with the Niners, we're going to give up picks to get him.
So the only way that this would really work for them is if he was, you have to be, like I said, you didn't have to tear the world apart in the first 9 practices. But you can't be bad.
Tell me somebody in the NFL, a quarterback who looked awful early and was a star. Russell Wilson was amazing. 10 days into camp, they knew he was the starter over Matt Flynn, who they just paid. Mahomes was amazing.
Jackson.
Like all these guys, Andrew Luck, they were literally saying 3 days in he'd memorized the playbook. Like guys that are great are generally, in the last 5-10 years, they look really
Unless
good
you're
early.
coming in with like a severe injury.
That's different.
Yeah, this is this may backfire on the Packers quickly.
All right. Oh, God. Joy of the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Live
I can't
News.
love that Packers story more.